Hi everyone, Mr.Z here again. Welcome back to my series Funk Guitar Lessons Advanced Ideas. Today we're going to be looking at putting together a progression that combines some dominant chords and some major chords, and just showing how we can sort of mix and match them to come up with sort of an interesting progression that features a little bit of both of those chord types. Okay, so let's have a listen to it, and then we'll break it down a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, we're just using a couple different chord types just to give the progression a little bit of different feel. So we're starting off playing a G dominant 7, part of a G dominant 7, and just using a few little lines there to get a little vamp going. So it's 3 on the A, 5 to the on the, or sorry, 3 on the D, 5 on the A, back to the 3, back to the 5. So let's get that little vamp going. Okay, then we're just adding in part of that C major chord to just give it a little bit more flavor and taste to it. Okay, so we're playing a G7 dominant at the 3rd, and then we're just using that as a slide. So that first little part will go as follows. Double slide up, and then the second time we're winding back up on the G7. Okay, so we'll call that sort of part 1, just playing around, adding a little flavor with that part of that C major chord with that G dominant 7, and just using a little bass line there, sort of a little bass line, but a single note line just to augment that chord, right? Okay, so we play that a couple times through, and then we're going to be using sort of a major line. So we're going to be playing part of that C major chord. So we're barring the middle 3 strings at the 5th fret. Then we're going to come up and play little chord fragments at that C major at the 8th fret. Again, using different positions to give it a little bit more interest, right? So we're coming up. Again, little chord fragments all off that C major. And coming back down to that G7. let's play that little segment. Okay, so let's put those, let's say parts 1 and 2 together. Then on the descending lick, we're going to be playing the same lick we just played in the C, except we're moving it up a whole step to the D. Back down to the C. Back down to the G. Then a little chromatic walk up to the C and the D. So let's do the whole thing slow. Again, it's a basic blues progression, right? A 1, 4, 5, but we're spicing it up by making it a little funkier and adding some major minor chords, or sorry, some major and dominant chords, just to give it a bit of a different feel. All right, so let's do it slowly. Okay, again, this just progression is basically just shows how we can mix up, in this case, major and dominant chords to get a little bit of the funk going, but still giving a bit of taste. For example, the major part sort of has that Paul Simon Graceland feel, right? Oops, sorry. Right, again, adding a little sort of that little bit of African vibe. We got a bit of a blues vibe going on, and again, basically a blues progression, but funkified, right? All right, that one's a little tricky to explain, and I had one little gaffe in there, but generally I hope you get the idea. Playing through a sort of standard blues progression, funkifying it, using major and dominant chords to add a bit of different flavor to the progression. All right, well, give that one a try. Let me know what you think, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.